Hello and welcome. I'm Joanna Rawbone, the founder of Flourishing Introverts. Have you ever wondered how to make the best of this time of year? The time of year when we're typically thinking about harvesting. This time of year, as the nights draw in here in the Northern Hemisphere, my thoughts turn to gathering in all that we've grown and produced throughout the year. Many introverts love this time of year as it aligns with our natural tendency to shut the world out and get cozy. And there are things that we can do to make the best of this time of year. Take gathering. In one sense, it's about being able to provide for ourselves during the cold months ahead, rather than letting our efforts go to waste. Of course, it's obvious how this applies to crops, and we've already had the harvest moon and the autumn equinox, so we're in the final harvest mode now. The farmers have been busy harvesting their grain and picking the apples from their orchards. Next comes the pumpkins and the squashes. If we choose to, we can also see how it applies to our achievements, our ideas, definitely our learnings, and because none of us is an island, even we introverts, our support network, and finally, our alignment. We're often so busy doing, we forget that we're human beings, that we don't allow ourselves sufficient time to reflect on our achievements, our progress, and what is still left to do. So as with nature, at this time of year, it's a great idea for us to look at what we've achieved thus far and decide if there's something that still requires our attention that we can focus on during the last few weeks of the year. We can still get a lot done in 2 months. Bear in mind that people will be thinking of hunkering down soon. I find that many ideas I've had have not yet been actioned. And as I mentioned in a recent podcast episode, Elizabeth Gilbert in her book Big Magic says ideas are like entities searching for a willing partner to bring them to life. And if one person doesn't act on it, the idea might move on to someone else. So it's okay for some of the ideas on my to-do list to be erased, knowing that someone else might pick it up and do something with it. I keep a learning log, but I'm not strict about when I update it. I wait for something to feel significant and then add it to my log. Now is a wonderful time to look back, as I'm reminded just how far I've come. And learning rarely happens when things go smoothly, so it stops me being paranoid about mistakes and mess-ups. Done is better than perfect, and it reveals more learning. It's also a great time to call in your support network, to refresh those informal but powerful contracts, and to reaffirm your support for each other. We know we don't need a huge crowd for this, but we do need support in essential areas. Who is there for me when I have the 3 a.m. collywobbles? Who brings me to my senses when I take on too much? Who brings me supplies when I am sick and unable to leave the house? Who takes the cats to the vets if I'm unavailable? And what am I still prepared to do for those people? A support network is a reciprocal entity, so it's give and take on all sides. Finally, who have we been over the first 3 quarters of the year? And how does that align with our intentions and our personal brand? Not that we're probably going to make any major changes for a while, but we need to gather the feedback so when the time comes for planning and taking action, it's informed and intentional. What would you include in your harvest? I'd love to know. So do drop me a message because the next phase requires us to do some sorting. You can find me on all platforms at Flourishing Introverts.